That was me in the spring of 2024. And this is me now. I look a little different on the outside, but I'm a lot different on the inside. I didn't know if I was going to be able to record another podcast video after that day, because on that last recording, I had just been diagnosed with cancer. One of the things that changed was my sense of purpose and how I could express that sense of purpose. And that's what I want to share with you today. So I'll share a little bit about myself, but most importantly, I want to offer you some of the things that I've learned along the way today on this episode of the Business of Being You podcast. Welcome back. Receiving a diagnosis of cancer will turn your world upside down. I mean, I've heard the saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him you have a plan. But I never in a million years thought that I'd have that saying hit me in the face the way that it did. My life was good and normal, not perfect, but I felt it had some purpose. And then a cough and some enlarged lymph nodes on my neck started me down a 3-month path of medical evaluations that ended with a diagnosis of cancer and the beginning of my cancer journey. All cancer diagnoses are difficult to receive and in their own way difficult to deal with. But there's an added layer to the mental burden when you're diagnosed with something that you did not contribute to by way of an unhealthy habit or a poor lifestyle. When you're just a victim of bad luck. Cancer is an umbrella term under which there are over 200 distinct types, and the prognosis under that umbrella spans such a broad spectrum, it's scary. It could be something as simple as a spot on your skin that's easily removed and will never come back again, or it could be something that's been progressing subtly and manifests suddenly, having the most final of prognosis. And just as cancer exists across a wide clinical spectrum, so does the human response to it. For some, it exposes the fragility of being human. For others, it draws out a depth of strength they never knew they had. But if I'm being honest, I think we all move along that spectrum, touching both ends at different times. Resilience and exhaustion, courage and fear, sometimes by choice and sometimes through circumstance. But one of the most difficult things that someone can go through in their cancer journey is losing their sense of purpose. At least that was the case for me. So I want to explore this concept of purpose through cancer with you today. And I want to share what I've learned and what is still unclear to me. Before I get into today's topic, I want to share some background on myself and my journey. But more importantly, I want to acknowledge the limitations of my experience and understanding of others' cancer journey. As I mentioned, in many ways, cancer exists within a spectrum. And I understand that there are cancer journeys that I do not and cannot relate to. I'm not trying to establish myself as the cancer ambassador or claim that I'm Captain Cancer here with all the answers or to save you from all your concerns and problems. I acknowledge that there are people who may be watching this that have a prognosis that does not offer them much hope for a cure, and some without much time to be alive. I want you to know that I'm not minimizing or making light of all of the emotions and uncertainty that you might be feeling as a result of your diagnosis. I do, however, want to share some insights I've gathered along my cancer journey, which may help you or someone you know. And today, I want to explore rediscovering your purpose while going through cancer. I don't know that I would consider myself an expert on purpose through cancer, but I do bring a unique perspective. I'm a physician assistant, or PA as we're commonly called. I'm also a certified coach who works with purpose-driven professionals around burnout, authenticity, and navigating career crossroads. And I'm a cancer patient. So maybe that does make me an expert in some ways because I look at things through a few different lenses. the objective and analytical eye of a clinician, the supportive and goal-oriented mindset of a coach, and the emotion, fear, and uncertainty that come with battling cancer. What I'll share with you today is a collective perspective, reflection, and guidance from those lenses. And if I'm being fully transparent, there's a fourth one too, the lens of faith. You'll hear me mention God, and you may hear me reference the Bible. But I'm not clergy, and I've never been to seminary. I'm just a guy figuring things out as he goes along, who's learned a few things along the way, both before and after my diagnosis. The cancer I was diagnosed with is considered to have a good prognosis, although as of the taping of this video, I'm not yet done with my cancer treatment. In 2024, I was diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was told that with the treatment I would be given, there was a 93% chance that this would be permanently eradicated. And after 12 rounds of chemotherapy and immunotherapy, I was fortunate enough to be in remission, but unfortunate enough in that it only lasted 6 months. Now that it's a relapsed Hodgkin's lymphoma, the treatment plan is more aggressive. It consists of a different combination of chemotherapy and immunotherapy compared to the last time, and it's going to be followed by an autologous stem cell transplant. My lymphoma specialist remains optimistic about my prognosis, but I'll be honest, relapsing on a cancer I was told had a 93% chance of cure, it does something to you. It does something to your faith, and not just your faith in your doctors, but also in God. But that's a topic for another video. Today, let's talk about rediscovering your purpose while going through cancer. So, what is purpose? According to the Oxford Dictionary, purpose is defined as the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. For many adults, that sense or expression of purpose shows up most often in their work or career. But undergoing cancer treatment often means attending multiple appointments, unpredictable energy fluctuations, and side effects that include nausea, neuropathy, and a rather annoying side effect called chemotherapy-induced cognitive impairment, also known as chemo brain. And as such, undergoing cancer treatment often means limiting your work or stopping work altogether. For me, it was losing the ability to practice medicine as a physician assistant. The treatment I was receiving made it impossible to care for patients safely or consistently. My energy levels were unpredictable, my immune system was weak, and the risk of infection was too high. Those same challenges also prevented me from coaching clients or running the mastermind group I'd created, because one of the cornerstones of coaching is reliability, and that just is impossible when you're never sure how you'll feel from one day to the next. And beyond the work itself, the loss of income took away a part of my role as a provider, which brought an additional emotional burden. And as you watch this, it may start to bring up the different ways you express your purpose by way of the roles that you held, the ones that you've lost or that have been reduced as a result of your diagnosis, treatment, or both. Maybe you were the caregiver in your family, the one who made sure everyone else was okay. Maybe you're an educator who had to step away from the classroom mid-year. Maybe you run a small business and your diagnosis has affected not just your income, but your employees and their families too. Or maybe you were the glue in your department, the one who kept everything running smoothly, the person that people turned to when things got tough. Whatever your story looks like, if cancer has taken away or even reduced the things that made you feel like you, I want you to know that that feeling is real and it's valid. You lost one of the ways that expressed who you are, and that loss should be acknowledged. So when you feel like you've lost your sense of purpose because of your diagnosis or treatment, the first thing I want you to do is pause. It's okay to admit that you feel lost, angry, or desperate for direction. Most of us do. That space between who you were and who you're becoming can feel like you're free falling, and it can be frustrating. When you feel like that, come back to the definition of purpose, the reason which something is done or created, or for which something exists. When you're going through treatment, you might tend to focus on that last part, why something exists. And I get it, because cancer brings up some deep questions. Why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? But purpose isn't only about existence. It's also about action. It's about doing things that still give you a reason to wake up in the morning. It could be something you enjoy, something you're good at, something you can teach, or something you want to learn. Now, I say the following respectfully, but if there was ever a time to face something as hard as cancer, it's this one. 100 years ago, this experience would have looked a lot different. Back then, your world would have probably only consisted of people and resources immediately around you. But today we live in a time of connection and possibility. If you're watching this on a phone, you already have access to more outlets, more tools, and more ways to express yourself than any generation before us. You can take photos of what moves you, write a story about what you're learning, record your voice or a video, and share thoughts in ways that reach people who might need to hear them. Remember, there are more ways than ever to connect, to learn, to create, and to contribute, even in the middle of something this hard. Step 1 is to remember what the definition of purpose is. And while many people focus on the part about why they exist, it's important to understand that what you do is not who you are. The work you do may be an expression of your purpose and authenticity, but it does not define the totality of who you are. You are a complex, multi-layered, multifaceted individual. And right now, one aspect of your expression, the one that may have felt most natural or familiar, has been guided away from its previous norm and into an invitation to evolve. It reminds me of that saying, what the caterpillar perceives as the end of its life, the butterfly sees as the beginning. Now, what I'm sharing with you isn't meant to be a checklist or a step-by-step process. However, I do think it's important to start by reflecting on what purpose really means. From there, the rest of what I'll share are just ways you can begin rediscovering your sense of purpose in a way that feels right for you. One of those ways involves shifting your focus from what you can't do to what you can do. And I get it. You might be watching this at a really dark point in your life thinking, I can't do crap. But maybe that's only partly true. You can start by making a list of all the things you can do. Start broad, high level. It doesn't have to be task specific or goal oriented. So your list might look something like, I can write, I can speak, I can sing, I can sit at a desk for 30 minutes at a time. I can use my laptop while laying in bed. I can use my phone for the first 90 minutes of treatment before I have to rest. I can prepare a meal. I can use the internet. I can draw. Then look at that list and think about what you can build from it. If you wrote, I can cook, maybe you start writing down recipes of your favorite family meals, or 20-minute dinner ideas for teens, or simple dishes you were able to tolerate during treatment, even when your stomach was acting up. If you put, I can draw, and I can use the internet, maybe you create an activity or coloring book and self-publish them through Amazon. Not only would that get you to use your hands, which may help with neuropathy symptoms, but it would also tap into your creativity, and sharing it could also help or inspire someone else. And if you put that you can walk or exercise on your list, maybe you work with your specialist to create gentle workout plans you can follow on the days you have energy. The point isn't to stay busy per se, it's to rediscover what makes life feel like life. To remind yourself that there are still things you can do, that you can contribute and create, things that help you rediscover your sense of purpose. The next thing I'd encourage you to do if you're going through cancer and struggling with your sense of purpose is to create a practice of silence or reflection. Meditation can be a powerful tool for that. Now, if you just sighed, rolled your eyes, or sucked your teeth, then you especially need to hear this part. Meditation doesn't have to be some woo-woo experience. What I'm talking about is simply making a conscious effort to quiet and calm your mind. It doesn't have to mean sitting with your legs crossed and with your fingertips touching, saying Om. It's about giving your mind some rest, not just when you're sleeping. For me, that sometimes looked like going for a walk in the park. Other times it was something as simple as watching the IV drip during treatment and syncing my breathing with the rhythm of the drops. I'd hold my breath for a few drops, and then I'd exhale for a few drops. Meditation, or centering as some people call it, isn't just for monks or yogis. It's a practice that's used by CEOs, performers, and professional athletes. It helps you stay present, focused, and clear. From a physiological standpoint, meditation and stillness can help lower stress, regulate blood sugar, decrease heart rate, and improve blood pressure. It can also decrease anxiety and reduce symptoms of depression. Meditation and stillness practices can help bring you back into coherence, which is when your physical, mental, and emotional systems are all working together in harmony. Cancer creates a lot of noise, both mentally and emotionally. And sometimes, without meaning to, you add to that noise. You might scroll on your phone, binge shows, and constantly feed your mind new content with the intention to help pass the time. But what you're doing is giving your brain even more to process when what it actually needs is rest. So developing a practice of quiet time, whether it's through meditation, reflection, or journaling, can help calm that noise. And if you've been praying, hoping, or just asking for some kind of sign, quieting your mind and heart becomes even more important. Because when God speaks to you, he whispers, he doesn't shout. And in those quiet moments, that clarity, inspiration, and purpose can reveal itself. The last thing I want to share when it comes to rediscovering your sense of purpose during cancer treatment is to talk with people who know and care about you. And I saved this one for last because purpose is deeply personal. But there are times when you might feel so drained or overwhelmed that reflection just seems impossible. Maybe you're dealing with the mental fog and cognitive changes that come with chemo brain. Or maybe you're just too emotionally spent to see things clearly. In those moments, it can help to share your challenge and your goal of rediscovering your purpose with someone you trust. Sometimes an outside perspective can help you see strengths and possibilities you've forgotten about. You can even reach out to friends on social media with something as simple as, "This cancer journey has me reflecting on my sense of purpose. Given my current limitations, I'm curious what qualities you've noticed in me that stand out, and how do you think I could use them even now?" Just remember, purpose is personal. Any feedback you get is only there to spark ideas, not dictate your path. You don't have to figure it all out right away. Every small step, every conversation, every moment of curiosity, it counts. Each one can bring you closer to rediscovering what lights you up and makes you look forward to a new day. So, going through cancer and cancer treatment can dramatically shift how you connect with your sense of purpose, but it can also open the door to rediscovering new facets of yourself and, as such, new ways to express it. At the heart of rediscovery, it really comes down to a few things. Remembering what purpose truly means, focusing on what's still within your reach, creating space for quiet, and leaning on the people who lift you up when you need help finding your own strength again. So, that's what I wanted to share with you today about finding purpose while going through cancer and cancer treatment. You are, or rather, we are, in a unique experience filled with challenges and uncertainty, but also opportunities for growth, peace, connection, and inspiration in ways we may have never experienced before. I'd love to hear how you've kept or reimagined your sense of purpose during your own cancer journey. And if you're a caregiver watching this, has this experience changed or deepened your own sense of purpose in any way? Let me know in the comments. If any of what I've shared resonated with you, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps bring this message to others who might need to hear it. And lastly, as of the taping of this video, I'm still undergoing cancer treatment and navigating loss of income. If you'd like to read my full story or offer some support, you can find the link in the comment section below. Once my recovery is complete, I'll deactivate the link. Thank you to those who have already contributed. Your generosity and kindness mean more to me than you know. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and remember to mind your business, the business of being you.